to shout at my husband like that.
That's right, because I ain't the one that did something wrong.
Are you saying I did?
Well, if the shoe fits, step in it.
Felicia thinks Mr. Bentley wants to marry her.
Where did she ever get a dumb idea like that? Oh, direct from the factory.
Look, well, I have saved lots of lives.
Name one.
Yours.
Mine? When did you do that?
The day I married you.
Don't get too cocky, Florence. George was the poker champion of his ship in the Navy.
That's right.
What ship was that? The USS Chump? I sure wish I could have spent a week on your boat.
No way. It was a war, but we wasn't that desperate.
Oh? George?
Oh, Paul, we ain't too tired.
Oh, Miss Jefferson. It's beautiful. How do you like it, Buzz?
Put it back in the box.
But Buzz,
Put the damn thing back in the box.
It's okay, Buzz. We all know you were thinking darn.
Hey guys, Sherman Hemsley, aka George Jefferson, has given us a lot of laughs over the years. He was a natural born comedian, and I loved his dancing. He was a good dancer. Watching him on the Jeffersons really helps to relieve my stress, especially the interactions between him and Florence. That was an awesome duo. I first saw him in The Jeffersons, which aired from 1975 to 1985. Before that, he was in All in the Family from 1973 to 1975. He played Deacon Ernest Fry on the NBC series Amen. He was great on that too. He won an NAACP Image Award for Best Performance by an Actor in a Comedy Series or Special for The Jeffersons in 1982. He was also nominated for a Golden Globe Award and an Emmy Award for his work on The Jeffersons. Sherman Hemsley was born on February 1st, 1938 in South Philadelphia. He was raised by his mother who worked in a lamb factory. He would meet his father when he was 14 years old. He graduated from Barrett Middle School. He attended Central Park High School and Bach Technical High School. He dropped out of high school and joined the Air Force, where he served for 4 years. After the Air Force, he went back to Philadelphia, where he worked for the United States Postal Service during the day while attending the Academy of Dramatic Arts at night. He later moved to New York while he continued to work for the post office during the day while working as an actor at night. In New York, he would study with Lloyd Richards at the Negro Ensemble Company. A little while after that, he joined Vinette Carroll's Urban Arts Company, appearing in productions like But Never Jam Today, The Lottery, Old Judge Mose is Dead, Moon on the Rainbow Shawl, Step Lively Boys, Croesus, and more. He starred as Gitlow in the early 1970s Broadway musical Pearlie. While Sherman was on Broadway with Pearlie, Norman Lear called him in 1971 to play the recurring role of George Jefferson in his new sitcom All in the Family. Sherman didn't want to leave his theater role to play George, so Norman Lear told him he would hold the spot for him. Sherman joined the cast 2 years later. Sherman was so good, he ended up getting his own show with Isabella Sanford, aka Weezy Jefferson. The Jeffersons was one of Norman Lear's most successful shows, and the show lasted longer than all of his other shows. Strangely, the show changed time slots at least 15 different times, which was unusual for a successful long-running show of that caliber. For whatever reason, they moved the Jeffersons show around constantly, forcing the viewers to have to look for it and accommodate that schedule. The Jeffersons would get canceled in 1985 after 11 seasons. It was just a sudden cancellation. They did not get a proper ending. Which is crazy to me because The Jeffersons was such a great show. They should have prepared a proper ending for the show and not just end it abruptly. Isabel Sanford said she had no idea the show was canceled until her cousin saw it on the tabloid and called her. She said other shows got a closing, but they never gave them that respect.
They called us in April, like in the middle of hiatus. And
say that we were canceled.
In 1999, Sherman told Entertainment Weekly why he thought the show was overlooked by the industry. He said there were a lot of big name people on shows like Donnie and Marie, Sonny and Cher. He said we were unknowns. We were a show that beat everybody out, and I don't think they appreciated it too much. After the show got canceled, Sherman continued to work steadily. He also teamed up with the Jeffersons' original cast when the Jeffersons moved to Broadway. In 1986, he did the show Amen, where he played Deacon Ernest Fry from 1986 to 1991. The show had 5 seasons. That was a great show. Sherman was also a voice actor in the ABC live action puppet series Dinosaurs, where he played Bradley P. Richfield, the boss of the character Earl. That series ran for 4 seasons. In 1995, he made appearances in the sitcom Sister Sister. He played Tia and Tamara's grandfather. In 1996, he was the lead in the TV comedy series Good Behavior. That lasted for 1 season. Sherman would cut back on his acting, but he would make appearances with Isabel Sanford, aka Wheezy, reprising their popular roles in television. Series like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, in commercials for Old Navy, the Gap, Denny's, and dry cleaning conventions. Sherman's personal life is not widely known. He seemed to be a very private man. He was never married and he didn't have any children that I know of. Sherman Hemsley died at his home in El Paso, Texas on July 24th, 2012, due to superior vena cava syndrome, a complication associated with lung and bronchial carcinomas. It is said that he had a malignant mass in one of his lungs. According to the El Paso County, Texas Medical Examiner's report, chemotherapy and radiation was recommended. Flora Enchington became the sole beneficiary of Sherman's will. She said that the two were friends and had been business partners for more than 2 decades. She allegedly lived with Sherman and his friend Kenny Johnston. She told the Associated Press that Sherman never mentioned any relatives. A man from Philadelphia named Richard Thornton, he claimed to be Sherman Hemsley's brother and the true heir to his estate. After he contested the will, Sherman's funeral was put on hold. Because of that, Sherman's body remained at the San Jose Funeral Home in El Paso and was not buried for months. Back then, I remember thinking, why is his funeral taking so long? I was so upset that they took so long to bury Sherman. It was just crazy. On November 9th, 2012, the legal battle over Sherman's body ended when the judge ruled in favor of Flora Enchington. He was an Air Force veteran, so he was buried at the Fort Bliss National Cemetery. Sherman brought lots of laughter. He brought lots of laughter to many, and he will live on in the hearts of the many people he touched, including me, because I still watch him till this day. Whenever I kind of feel stressed out, I go and play the Jeffersons. He was a special man, and he is not forgotten. Rest in peace, Sherman Hemsley.